The new channel. The new channel. Hashtag TNCNow.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following shows are those of the host, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Well, hello and welcome to the new channel. Born out of passion, we are a community that helps you be the new you. I'm Dr. Michelle Mras, streaming live from the United States amongst the beautiful mountains of Colorado. You are watching Mental Shift. Well, hello to the United States and to the Philippines. Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. My guest tonight is an award-winning speaker, radio host, TV producer, PR media specialist, and 15-time best-selling author. With her help, her clients have been featured in thousands of major media publications, television, radio, podcasts, magazines, and stages. She's helped more than 200 entrepreneurs become published authors. And her top-selling book, Get Discovered, is the how-to example for creating media exposure in less than 90 days. I'm proof positive on that. She has hosted over 2,500 broadcasts and has interviewed over 5,000 guests, such as Sharon Lechter, Michael Gerber, Les Brown, Forbes Riley, and Bill Walsh. Her unique approach to media is why she is called the Media Matchmaker. Please welcome my guest tonight, Angel Tuccy.
Hey, Michelle, how are you?
Hello, Smiley. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm so excited to be here tonight. This has been a long time coming. It's like a dream of mine. I get to be on the Michelle Mras show.
Well, thank you for joining me. I mean, I've told you this before. I've been watching you for years, and I used to live in Colorado. Now you live in beautiful, sunny Orlando, Florida, but you used to be here. And I remember watching you, and I remember hearing you, and I remember thinking one day when I grow up, I might be just like her. And then all these years and all these things happened to me, and I forgot what I really wanted. And then I ran into you again, and I went, holy smokes, how did I let this shining star leave my view? And when I got you back into my view, what did I do? I didn't let you go is what I did. Because you are the media matchmaker. And really what you've done with your life, you're a mentor for me with what I'm doing in my world. But I want to share with my audience what brought you to what you do today, because you are pretty rockin'. You're the quiet, silent person that does everything behind everyone else that makes us look amazing. So what brought you to do what you do today? And then we'll get to more of that later. What was your mental shift?
Right. Great introduction, Michelle. And I remember when we reconnected, I didn't even recognize you. You are half the woman, right?
A third, actually.
Oh, a third, right? A third of the woman. And yet so much more amazing, so vibrant, really stepping into your space, just a shining superstar. And not too long ago, I actually found a picture of that event where we were together on the same stage. And I think neither you or I are the same person we were back then. We've grown, we've changed. I think we've stepped into just who we were meant to be. And it's almost embarrassing to say, right? Like, we're here, we're doing all these amazing things. We're out speaking, we're sharing our gift, we're serving others. And yet at the same time, even still playing small, even in that space, and almost embarrassing to just even admit that even then, what you thought, oh my gosh, here's this shining star. I had all this, all this stuff I was going through at the time, because I was in a brand new space, just being released from broadcasting. I had been a broadcaster for over 10 years in Denver, Colorado. I was the host of a positive business talk show and a Christian lifestyle show. So I was hosting 4 hours of talk radio every day. And when I left broadcasting, I think when I saw you, this was only a few months after leaving radio and stepping into a whole new realm for me, which was being a public speaker. And like you said, I'm more of a behind the scenes kind of gal. I'm out there as the media matchmaker, making sure that my clients are being seen, they're getting visibility, they're creating that exposure. And I just want to be their wind beneath their wings, right? I want to be the silent partner, right? If in fact, you shouldn't even know my name, right? You should know my clients, but where did they come from? Who's the magic behind all of that? And that's a really comfortable space for me, behind the scenes, behind the camera, admin, coordinating, organizing, strategizing. And so when you met me, Michelle, or when you saw me on stage, being a public speaker was a brand new thing for me. In fact, I almost didn't graduate high school because I had such a fear of public speaking. I couldn't even explain how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to my high school peers. I couldn't read a piece of paper into a microphone in our high school radio studio because the words wouldn't come out. My mouth dried up, the butterflies in my stomach. I mean, the absolute terrified of public speaking. And then so here, what was that? Many years later, here I am, traveling the world as a public speaker, speaking on stages. But it was because I'd been given a gift, which at the time, right, when one door closes, another opens. At the time, it was a canceling of all of my broadcasting contracts. Right? 5 minutes before I was going live on the air, they invited me, and my producer invited me into a studio and said, "We've made a change." Like that statement, "We've made a change." And 5 minutes later, I was being escorted out of the building with my disco ball, right? My same disco ball that I have here. I would put up every Friday in the studio. And I was taken off the air, not just one 2-hour talk show, but both of them, 2 hours, 2-hour shows, 4 hours back to back. And I was given a gift. At the time, it felt embarrassing, right? To be let go of broadcasting and let go of radio because it's such a public dismissal. My phone was ringing off the hook. "Where are you? We miss you. We wish you were still on the air." And I had made the decision to go out and teach authors, entrepreneurs, small business owners how to leverage the power of media to grow their businesses, their books, and their brands. And so public speaking, like the opposite of my skill set. My skill set is organization and strategy and admin and building relationships and making connections. But it was really stepping out of my comfort zone to say, if I'm going to really make an impact and get this message out to small business owners and give them a platform and teach them, then I myself have to step into it first. Right? That's what a leader does, right? Steps into it first. And so I stepped with one foot in terrified and the other foot in excited. And off I went and decided to become a public speaker of all things so that I could get this message out to entrepreneurs and small business owners across the country. And it's been a game changer. It's been a game-changing move ever since.
Well, it's a domino effect. You have affected so many lives. I mean, in your intro, I said 5,000, but it's far more than 5,000, because what you don't understand, what all of you in the background, all of you watching us right now don't understand, is Angel's behind me. She's the wind underneath my wings. And so she's part of the team that I rely on to help me get my message out. So think of this, Angel, all of you watching, when you think about, well, I'm only doing this one thing and I've affected these people, the people that Angel's dealing with, like me, it's not one person. It's the domino effect of everyone that we come in contact. So Angel gave me the confidence to step on a stage. Later on, I find out that she does this media stuff that I didn't even know I could do. And she's like, that's what I do. I write. I make you look good. I talk more. And you're easy to do. And so when you see press releases about me, it's Angel writing them.
Well, you are right. You are easy.
You said it.
Here we have a superstar like Michelle Mras, who is publishing books. She's speaking on stages. She's on a national speaker tour. She's launching programs. She's hosting her own event. She's an award-winning podcaster. I mean, she is the cat's meow, like the cat's pajamas for a publicist. So for her to want to up that, like, let's take that up a level and create some publicity and PR around that, because she's already doing all the wonderful things. And this is what happens with a lot of small business owners. You're doing these amazing things every day. But when you have such a superstar like Michelle, and a voice and a personality and the dynamics, not everybody, right? We can recognize not everybody has the star power, right? I've been able to come across a handful of people in my lifetime that when you just meet them, you just look at them and you see all the things that you're doing or that they're doing, and you just know they were meant for stardom. And that's how I feel about Michelle, but not the vanity of stardom of, ooh, like, look at me. She's creating platforms and she's creating opportunities and bringing people along. She's like this little mother hen to say, all right, my little ducklings, I'm doing it, but I'm not doing it by myself. I want y'all with me, right? So she's like the little mother hen saying, let me create the podcast and the stages and the programs so that we can all go and blossom and rise and shine together. And then I just get to do the PR, right? And we get to share that message out with the world. But you make it so easy for me, Michelle.
Well, thank you. Thank you for all those wonderful words. But my thing is I can't explain it. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't see you step out on that one stage in 2018 when you didn't want to.
Yeah.
It was that one moment in time where I watched you. And so think of this. I thought, I'll be an MC. I'll play kind of back. I won't be in the front. And in that event, I watched you and I went, she's fun. I can do this. I mean, she's talking. I mean, she's not robot. She's real. I can be real. You opened a door in my head of, I can do this. And so, yes, star power came from learning from different people, other different mentors I've been spying on through social media, that the power is in being authentically yourself. And like Angel, you are so good at what you do that just talking to you, do you hear how she talks about me? She wrote another one, just talking right there. Another press release. That is why I needed her in my world, because what we all think is ordinary is extraordinary.
Yes.
Angel has this ordinary talent of hers to make everyone else sound extraordinary. And so if you have any business, small business, anything you have, if you're a speaker, anything, press releases need someone articulate enough to see the beauty and the shiny magic in what you do that you consider ordinary. I had a whole discussion with Angel, and I have to share this with you. She says, you should do press releases. I said, I don't have anything to say. I mean, I just published a book. Oh, and I have a podcast. Oh, and I have a show on Mental Shift called on TNC. I mean, and in my mind, it wasn't a big deal. She wrote an article for me, and I went, who is this lady? Oh my gosh, it's me. So really, Angel, you help validate what I do every day where I think it's not a big deal. You write it and I do, who is this person? I'm evolving and watching the evolution through your writing of me.
Oh.
Right?
Even when you said like that day where you heard me speak, it was, I remember watching other public speakers, Michelle, and and in our space, a lot of public speakers are gentlemen, right? There's a lot of men in the space, and yet there's the majority of the audience tends to be women, tends to be female. And so how do we, you see these gentlemen and they're very polished and they have their style. And then here I am. I'm like, I didn't grow up with that. I didn't have that. But I knew, like, there was something pulling me to share my message and to go and speak on stages and to be me. Like, I wanted to find a space. Like, is there room for me and my personality and my style? Because my style isn't super, I don't know. I don't want to say polished. Because I think I have my own little Shazam, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, I want to be me. I don't have to be exactly like everybody else out in the world. In fact, it would be better if I wasn't like anybody else, if I was just who I was naturally, because I think I have a natural, I don't know, my natural gifts, right? That will shine through.
From the heart, Angel.
Thank you. Right? Like, I can't even think of the words right now. It's 9:45 at night here, right in Orlando, Eastern time zone. I love Eastern time zone in the morning. I don't start till 10 a.m. But like at the end of the day, I'm like, I still have some words. Yeah. But being able to speak from the heart, to connect with an audience, but to truly be me. And for you to say, and this is a reminder for all of us, there are times that we will show up and we might not want to, or not really quite understand, like, what's the bigger picture here? And is this worth my time? And should I even? And yet that one person in the audience, that domino effect, like we throw a stone out, and the ripple effect of us just showing up, of committing to something, maybe stepping outside of our comfort zone for a minute and showing up and sharing. I created, just by showing up and sharing in a space that was brand new to me, I wasn't super familiar and comfortable with. That was probably like my fifth stage, right? Out of, after leaving broadcasting, because it was very early on. And here was Michelle in the audience. Here was a woman that I didn't even realize that I'd had an impact on. We make an impact just by showing up. And we don't always get to see the end results of what that turns out to be. I mean, we're blessed, Michelle, that you and I ended up in the same space a few years later, and we could have this moment. But you have this podcast, right? We all, people listening, they show up for work, they show up for things, right? And they don't even realize the impact that we're having out in the world. And we might not ever know. But just listening to this podcast and listening to the story here today, that just by showing up every day, that somebody is watching you and they're paying attention. People on social media, they might not comment, they might not respond to you, they might not take action today, but it doesn't mean they're not noticing and that they're not doing something internally that you're not even aware of. And so I just think this is so magical that we get to share this story.
It is magical. I mean, and that's why I came up with the motto that I always say, be the best version of you unapologetically. And I'm not saying you have to be perfect, but every day be the best you, show up as the best you, because someone is watching. Because just like I tell you, you were on that stage and you were awesome. You were just naturally you, and you were speaking from your heart. And I went, I want to do that. I don't want to preach. I don't want to lecture. I just want to speak. And that's what you did. So that's what I do. And I've had people reach out to me and say, you know what? I was in an audience with you when you did your TEDx, and I saw you on stage. I saw you blank at the end. I had my brain injury during that. And said, I saw you go up to your husband and say, what did I say? And I knew, because you did this with a brain injury, with a 16-second memory, that I could do it too. And I went, well, I'm so glad I was a positive influence. You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's magic.
Yeah. It is magic. It is magic. And so this, I think we're having, so much fun, right? Just being able to reminisce on how just the impact of showing up has been on each other's lives. And so no coincidences, right? No accidents. It's all by this grand, beautiful design, but we have to show up. And sometimes we have to show up afraid, nervous, not exactly knowing. Like sometimes we show up because there's a gut instinct that says, I need to be here. And we might not always know why. And I think that we tend to say no too often to opportunities. I remember hearing this terrible joke, right? Of a gentleman who was drowning and lifeboat came and a tugboat came and a helicopter came, like all these things came. And finally, he's at the pearly gates of heaven. And he's like, God, why didn't you save me? He's like, I sent you a lifeboat, a raft boat, and a tugboat, and a helicopter, and an airplane, right? I sent you all these things. And every day we meet people with seemingly happenstance, right? Just completely random. And I just don't believe in that anymore. The person sitting next to you on an airplane or on a bus or at the restaurant or standing in line, somebody inviting you to attend an event, we say no because of whatever, right? Whatever we go in our heads. You just had a beautiful event inviting people to come to your unapologetic speaker event. And it was transformational to the people who showed up. We were at an event here in Orlando, Florida, as the hurricanes were coming. Mm-hmm. And we had 147 people show up for this event when there's a hurricane, coming our way. And you think, this is absolutely crazy. But we were okay, right? Like it didn't hit Orlando. We were we were landlocked and we were in, inland enough. And the event ended before the hurricane came into town. But people, like, we have to sometimes just be super brave and maybe even a little bit crazy, but show up for yourself and show up for your success and watch the other people, like all the resources you need, show up for you as well. And losing my voice, I feel.
Okay, well, I'll talk then, because I want to share one of the things about how I ran back into you. I did not want to go to the Ultimate Speaker competition. No? None. I don't compete as a speaker. I'm a speaker coach. And so I've already done the TEDx. I've already coached people on the TED. And so my thought was it would be unfair for me to compete. So I didn't want to go. And I said, I will go as a judge. And I was told, you can't be a judge unless you've been on the stage. I said, fine, then I'll win. So I went, and Angel's there. She's sitting at the judge's table, and I walk up to her and I said, you don't remember me, do you? And she goes, huh? And so I show her a picture of when she met me before, and she says, oh my gosh! But the long story short of that is, yes, I did win the Ultimate Speaker competition, but the magic in that is the winner got to work with Angel. That's how we got connected again. I won coming to one of your camps, and I blew it off. I'm like, I don't know if I want to go. I'm not ready. I've got so much to do. And then I'm talking to my friend Sally Wurr, and she said, I'm going to Angel's event. So I won't have to go alone. She goes, oh. I said, okay, I'll go. And so I went because Sally was going. And then Dr. Shelley heard I was going. So she goes, well, I want to go too. So the three of us came because Sally invited me. Oh. I won from you. And Dr. Shelley had got second place. So she was supposed to come too. So we all came because Sally clicked it, told me, come.
Because of Sally, right? Yeah, you had a ticket because you had won. And you were like, I don't even know if I'm going to go. And here's Sally going, I'm going. And you're like, oh, well, if Sally's going, right? I love that. I love that.
It's crazy. So it's never a coincidence. So Sally came into my world and brought us. We went there and we're sitting in the back of the room. And I'm like, I'm so distracted. You remember that day? I kept leaving your room because I was on a podcast and people kept calling me. And you said, Michelle, you need better time management. So I fixed that right there too. And so going there, and then every time I came in and out, I came back in, I would hear something I didn't know. And I would go, I'd write it down, and then my phone would ring and I'd run back out. And I'm like, you know what? I am learning what I need from Angel, because every time I walk in, it's something I'm supposed to do. And I would initiate it immediately. I wasn't writing it down and not doing it. I was literally going out of the room and doing exactly what you just said in your room. That's kind of how I roll. But anyways, from you, I signed up. I walked back in and you were talking about this. You introduced Michelle Foss.
Yeah, the publicity playbook.
And I went, okay. And I signed up. And that is how I met Zandra. That is how Zandra met Apple. I mean, you are the beginning catalyst of mental shift, joining with TNC and Zandra TV in Dallas. It's you.
I love that. Oh my gosh. I love that. I love that. Again, right? Like, these are just, we again think these moments are so random, right? Sally's happening to go and she happens to invite you. Well, you had already had a ticket from winning the ultimate speaker competition. You and Shelly came, you had this great camaraderie. We all ended up in Dallas a few months later doing the publicity playbook event at the Zandra TV studios. But this is how life can happen. The universe loves speed, right? So when you show up, I always say, when you have faith and you take action, the universe shows up to support you, to guide you, and create miracles. And Michelle, you're a walking testimony to that. But I will tell you, this kind of stuff happens to me all the time. I'm in awe. Like, it doesn't even surprise me anymore. I still love and appreciate and honor all of these moments. But because I'm just like, of course you're going to do this amazing thing. Of course you're now going to be on even more streaming platforms. And of course you're going to have and be streamed into hundreds of thousands of households. Of course, because why wouldn't you? Look at you. Look at all of the things that you're doing. But you had to show up, right? Had you not come, who knows, right? Who knows, right? We just won't even go there. We just won't go there.
The thing is, it's not even just show up. It's show up and act.
Yes. You did, right? You signed up. You're like, I'm doing the next thing. I'm elevating. And then when you went to the ZTV studios, all right, I'm elevating. I'm signing up for the next thing. I signed up for so many things. In fact, I met somebody not too long ago, for somebody who used to run the Peak Potentials events, which was like, you know, the Tony Robbins and all the big speakers, T. Harv Eker and all of that. And here was this woman. She's like, I think I bought everything that they ever sold. I'm like, brilliant. Because when you do that, you're saying yes to yourself, you're investing in yourself, and not everything is going to turn out exactly like you think it will. Sometimes it's even better.
Yeah.
Right? But this is where we get freaked out over the investment of money or time or resources or something we're not exactly sure how that's going to play out and work out. But I'm here, a lot of those same stories that you just said, Michelle. I showed up, I met this person, I signed up for the thing, and I met the person, I signed up for that thing, I met the person, I signed up, and that's how I ended up speaking at that event that you and I were together. And in fact, that's how I end up as a judge at the event you won the speaker competition. I paid to be a judge. I paid to sponsor that event. And I wanted to back out of it because was supposed to happen during the pandemic and the timing. I was buying a house, and had it not been in Orlando, I would have canceled even going. It's just the little mosaic tiles of how this beautiful picture came to be is a lot of us going, I don't really want to do that.
Yeah, I don't want to do it, but okay, I'll do it.
But I'll be there. I said I would, or it makes sense, or I was invited, or somebody else I know. But the initial thought is, do I really want that? Do I really need that? I mean, we do.
I'm tired
out of it, right? But it was here, and I had paid for the sponsorship over a year in advance, maybe a year and a half prior to. So I was like, I've already spent the money, right? Like, silly little thinking, but it's what got me there.
Yes, and we will keep growing together, Angel, because there are no coincidences. You've been wrapped into my world. Now, when we come back from commercial, we're going to go deeper into how you help people in businesses on an individual level and how they can help level themselves up by working with you. So, everyone, if you are loving this right now, please share the live stream, and we'll be right back after these commercials. See you in a bit.
Hi, this is Rene Sagaran, pioneer member and choreographer of the Maneuvers and creator of Hataw Fitness. I would like to invite everyone to please support our fundraising event entitled The Crossroads Dance Movers for the Love 90s Dance Concert. This will be on October 8th, Saturday, 5 p.m. at the Crossroads Center. Part of the proceeds of this event will go to Jeffrey Carmelo C. De Castro. For inquiries, please try to directly message me on my Facebook.
Juan Lu and his puppets face to face with special guests Makata Tawanan, Jess Box, and the Lunaria Marionette Show.
Salita. Alam mo, Tito Anlo, kung wala ako, magsasalita ka mag-isa. Kung wala ako, wala kang masusuot. Kung wala ako, wala kang nakakain.
November 13, Sunday, 7 p.m. at the La Verdad Auditorium in Apalit, Pampanga. Buy your tickets now and see you soon, face to face.
Thank you for watching Mental Shift. I'm Dr. Michelle Mras. Now, you want to do your friends a favor. Share this show with them. But did you know that TNC is a live stream platform of online shows for people on the go? Watch all the shows as you can see here on the screen. Now imagine having your own show, your own playlist, but your own content, but we make it easier for you. TNC aims to transform the lives of our viewers through engaging, authentic, and original content. Our vision is to become a global 24/7 live stream channel that showcases Filipino talent, global influencers, cultural intelligence, and ingenuity. Continue to watch Mental Shift live every Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, or Wednesday morning in the Philippines, 9:30 a.m. You can also watch all the replays via Facebook or YouTube. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Just search hashtag TNCNow. For sponsorships, please email now@thenewchannel.com or send a direct message to the new channel. So enjoy these life-changing shows because we made them for you. And welcome back. I'm Dr. Michelle Mras with Mental Shift, and my guest tonight is Angel Tuccy.
I'm so excited to be here with you tonight, Michelle. This is so much fun. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for staying awake.
I will admit that I am usually in bed at this time, usually
You are.
kind of winding down, watching a little TV. But yep, I'm still awake.
You're awake. You're awake. I believe in you. No, and the other thing that I think is really funny with you is there's a big tie. You helped me so much with all my media press releases and everything like that, and just really helped me shine like a star in the world of all social media. And you not just do that, write it, you guide us on how to do it. So you have helped me learn how to market myself without feeling weird about marketing myself. And a lot of people, a lot of small businesses, they're the best kept secret. And I went to your camp, basically your session of teaching us everything. And you helped us all realize that in some way, shape, or form, even if we think, hey, I'm out there on social media, I'm doing stuff, we're still playing hide the business. And when you do that, when you bring that out on people, I know the answer. What's one of the first things you tell us to do in order to get our notoriety that we have something out there to share? What do you tell us to do?
Well, great question. Hopefully I have the right answer. But the number one thing that I think most small businesses are missing is that publicity on major media networks. And the way that you can get that every single month is through the power of a press release. And so was a press release the right answer that you were looking for, Michelle?
I'm waiting for the second one too, but okay. The first one was press release.
Is it publishing?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
P&P. I remember P&P.
Right. And so publishing, being a published author is the number one way to attract media attention, to be invited to speak on major media platforms for no cost, right? They want to interview and feature authors all the time. It's also the easiest thing to sell on a non-paying stage, meaning you didn't pay for advertising for that media exposure. So you can't sell your programs, your products, your services, but you can sell a book. So being a published author, hands down, number one way to attract media exposure. And secondly, to leverage the power of a press release and put a press release together and distribute that to your local and major media outlets every single month. And so by having your own published book, leveraging the power of a press release, and then maybe even a couple interviews a week on other people's podcast stages, magazines, radio, television. By doing 2 interviews a week, that gives you exposure in front of 100 fresh new audiences. 1 press release a month puts you in front of thousands of media news desks, and having a published book as the door opener to attract the right stages, to get you in front of the perfect audiences, you can monetize your media exposure every single week and create this really juicy passive income. And think about this. If you are a published author and you're selling your book through a media opportunity, through a media interview, 7 books a day is $5,000 a month in passive income and residual income. And 100 books a day is $1 million in sales. So this gets really juicy really fast if you start to think about it.
It's awesome to watch you in that room share from your heart exactly how to leverage who we are and what we do. And I remember you saying, well, don't just write a book, write a book. What are you an expert in? Write the book on that. Because I remember people doing, well, what am I going to write on? Write the book on that. And then you leverage all of that. And as you were doing the numbers, I remember doing, I never did that with any of my first 2 books. So I was like, okay, my 3rd book, I'm gonna really do this right. And so Hold My Crown, Women of Grit, you've helped me push it all over the place. I mean, it ended up on Times Square. And so the thing about it is the tools that Angel gave us in that room are very easy, very simple tools. But we think, well, I don't need to do that. Oh, I'll do it later. Oh, and we have these silly excuses. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it, right? We miss out every single month. I mean, if you were to look at your calendar, I mean, just, here we are in the 4th quarter of this year. And what are you doing? Like, what are your goals that you have set for yourself? What are the events that you're participating in? Are you a published author? Are you publishing a book? Are you a chapter in somebody else's book? Are you launching a course? Are you aligning with a nonprofit? Are you hosting an event? All of these things that you are doing, that you're checking off your list, these can all be leveraged into a headline, into a powerful press release that may not initially like raise a flag for journalists to go, okay, so this person's doing something. But cumulatively, okay, and so let's just take Michelle, for example, published a book. Okay, this is pretty cool, right? Brought all these women together, the Women of Grit. That's super cool. They have all these amazing stories. That's even more cool. Now they're on this book tour. Okay, adding to the cool factor, she's all over the country, including going to visit the book at the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C., speaking at all of these events, opening up all of these doors, bestseller, international, and it just piles on. So it's the piling on of news that as we send these stories out to the journalists every single month, here's Michelle here, here's Michelle here, here's Michelle here, and now they're like, oh my gosh, this woman, she's doing so much. We have to get her story out. We have to interview her. And so it just starts to attract the type of media exposure that she's looking for. One press release is not a marketing campaign. But month in, month out, over and over again, getting some of these media outlets to pick her story up repeatedly, that's amazing. Like, to have them pick it up once, kind of cool. But every time she sends out a press release, to have a couple of these media outlets pick up her story again and again and again, Michelle Mras is becoming a household name in these media offices, in these news outlets. And that's what we're looking for, right? And good stories get good airtime. So the more often she puts out a press release, the better her SEO, the more established she is with these journalists, the more connected she is, and the excitement of the people all around her. Now we're booking her for more media opportunities. She's speaking on more stages. She's selling her book. She's making money. She's a rock star. She's a superstar. Oh, I'm sorry. We're having a talk, right?
But that's the magic of what you do. And what I didn't tell you, Angel, is I know a lot of the Midwest ones like to pick me up. I have a lot of newspapers in the Midwest pick me up. I got a message from a man in Tennessee. He said that he was sitting out at a conference and he was bored and he typed in like crown. But he was thinking crown as a king, and he was thinking about writing a book on his own about men and kings. And my book popped up. Then my name he said, like the first 8 pages of Google was me. And he said, I don't know who you are, but you're all over the place. And so I had to reach out to you and let you know that I'm thinking about having a book written about kings, and I see you have one that says "Hold My Crown." We need to talk.
Oh my gosh, right? And so again, we've established you and positioned you as the expert in this space, right? Like this is, I call this your media magnet. When you have a phrase or a topic that when people hear this phrase or topic, they think of you, or when they think of you, they think of this topic. This is your magnet. And when you think of crowns, right? Because of the Hold My Crown theme, you see it everywhere. It's in her book. You think of Michelle. So it doesn't matter whether it's a crown for kings or queens or a drink or whatever, right? It's Michelle. And so if anybody is wanting to do any article, talk about, be featured in, or even resilience and grit, I think a lot of times we think of like that's a magnet for you too, Michelle. Your name and the SEO and the backlinks from these media outlets that have picked up your press releases, and now they're featuring your press releases on their news sites. So your SEO, right, your search engine optimization. And the brilliance of this is whenever you speak, wherever you are, if somebody Googles you, because that's what people do when, okay, I don't know who she is, right? I don't know who Angel is, so maybe I'll Google her, right? I don't know who Michelle is, so maybe I'll Google her. Like that's what we do. We get on our phones, and now you start to see, because of all of these stories being picked up, what ends up happening is it lifts up, like, so now your stuff, your heavier weighted stuff, your Facebook, or not your Facebook, your website and all your sites get lifted up, and underneath it are all these OPA, other people's audiences, right? Other people's platforms that are featuring you. It's beautiful. And you do that every single month. And now when you Google her, it's pages and pages and pages of Michelle. Like you just,
Thank
you're
you.
in for the long run.
Thank you, Angel. Well, because I'm writing another book. I'm compiling another book called Hold My Crown, Men of Grit Share Stories of Vulnerability. And so when this man reached out, I let him know that. He's like, oh my gosh. So I wouldn't have to write my own book. I would be in your book, and then I can do my book. I said, exactly. He goes, that is why you're all over the page. Yeah. Destiny was sent. I was meant to meet you through all of this. And that's how we're working. He's going to be in my book. Why? Because he wanted to write a book, but the trepidation of trying to do a whole book by himself, we just gave him an outlet. We were an answer to him because of all the work you do in the background for me and all the other people you work with. So when people are looking for Angel Tuccy, yes, it's Tuccy. It's like fussy, but with a T.
I remember when I used to Google me, right, because you do that in the beginning, and it would always say, do you mean something else? Like, oh, did you mean to ask for, right? And so I'm sure even with Michelle Mras, so like, are you sure that's how you want to spell that? Did you mean that? And now when you look you up, right, almost 100,000 results show up when you Google Michelle Mras. No question as of what's the spelling. Are you sure you got that right? Like, no, let me just tell you, she is here. You Google Angel Tuccy, right? It's pages and pages. But because we drink our Kool-Aid, right? Like we put out press releases, we drink our Kool-Aid, we make sure that our name is in the press. I speak on other people's platforms. I do the things that I teach. I publish books, right? I do the things I teach my clients, not for no other example, because I want to learn it, do it, and teach it, right? I the example first. I want to make sure it's going to work before I have my clients do it. And the basis of media mastery came from 10 years in broadcasting, already being a published author, already interviewing 5,000 guests. Like we learned it like through the ropes, and we just perfected it through media mastery, and now get to share that with our clients around the world. Well, mostly the United States, but a little bit around the world.
Well, and you may be getting a lot of people from around the world. Okay. This show was.
Yeah, I don't think we have, like we have some London, we have some Australia, we have some South America, we have some Canadians. I don't think I have anybody in the Philippines yet.
Oh, we need to fix that. Well, because the other thing I thought was funny is I found your book, Get Discovered. I have an old copy of one of your first books.
Do you? Ooh, an original.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like a collector's item right there.
I've meant to take a picture and send it to you because it's kind of beat up, but I've got it.
I'll send you a fresh one.
Okay. I've got the source now. I don't need the book. I've got the source. But I'm just so excited of all the things that you brought to the world. And I know your last days on radio were pretty horrific, but you know what? Best thing ever, because you have ignited thousands upon thousands of other people who have their messages to bring to the world. And I've watched the faces of the people in that last camp that I was with, that last conference that I was at with you. I watched their eyes shift, and I watched their shoulders go back, and I watched them realize who they are and what they bring to the world. That is the power of Angel Tuccy. You can see us and poof, amplify us into another level until we believe it ourselves. I mean, watching, like I told you, reading what you write is like, is that me? My husband's like, that's you, Michelle. I do, but is it? And after I think the third press release you wrote, I went, holy smokes, I need someone to keep me grounded. I need someone to remind me that I'm still Michelle. Because you write me up. And I'm like, wow,
it feels like that to you, Michelle, because you empty the dishwasher, right?
Yeah.
Like you throw your laundry in the laundry basket.
I was just cutting onions an hour ago. I mean,
yeah. So it feels like that to you because you grew into, right? You stepped up, you showed up, you started a podcast, you wrote a book, like baby steps. But to the world and to the rest of us on the outside, and this is one of the things I love about writing these press releases for my clients. This is truly who you are. This is what you're doing. But again, we do this every day, so we just think it's ordinary. We host an international award-winning podcast that streams on all these networks and is on this channel and has all this impact, right? But for you, you're like, I come into this room, I turn on my camera, I turn on my thing, right? I just am doing. I'm in an international best-selling book and, it's got all these accolades. But for you, I'm sitting in my favorite chair with my hot tea and I have my blanket and I'm just writing my thoughts down, right? See, like it's just average and ordinary, and that's for all of us. So when I and my team and we get to write these press releases and showcase and put it in writing, these are the things that you're doing, and send that off to the news. This is how we see you, and this is really truly who you are. And so it is a blessing, but I know when my clients get it, they're like, wow, that person sounds amazing. I'm like, I know, right?
Wow. Well, and that's what I
that.
wanted to make sure that my world knew your world, knows you. Because, my husband just wrote ordinary superheroes. Yes. And that's the thing is, there are all these people watching us right now. And I want to share what Angel shared. What you think is ordinary is extraordinary. And if you can't see it, the people who are watching you from the outside see it. Angel is one of the people who see me as me and help me. Well, basically, I borrow the belief she has in me as she's writing to remember what I actually do, because I grocery shop, I cut onions, I just made dinner for my family. I was picking up dog poop in my backyard. I mean, I have a normal life. There's nothing spectacular. And so I forget the amazing things I do in the world and the things that I have brought to the world. And I want to again say thank you to Angel for being authentically herself, to give me permission to be myself. And for those of you who are watching, we give you permission to be you too. Go be unapologetically, authentically, speak from your heart, you, because that's what the world needs, more you, not you being anyone else. So Angel, we have about 6 minutes left. What would you like to share with the audience that impact and definitely how can they find you?
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you. The time has flown. And again, thank you so much. This has been so great. God bless you for stepping into your greatness, Michelle, and for creating this platform for us to hopefully inspire somebody. If I can do it, you can do it. I mean, that's what I want you to know. every day you're doing things. You show up. You show up for work. You show up for your clients. You show up for others. Just once a month. Pick the day that's your birthday. My birthday falls on the 18th of the month. What day does your birthday fall on? Right? So pick the day of the month that your birthday falls on. And I want you to set a recurring event on your calendar. Call this PR day, celebration day, bubble day, right? Pour yourself something bubbly, maybe at the end of the day, right? A special drink, a bubble bath. But I want this day to be a day that you celebrate your success. And the more you celebrate your success, the more success you will have to celebrate. It's the perpetual momentum of success, right? It's my own little theory. You celebrate your success, you'll have more success to celebrate. But on this day, this is your PR day, this is celebration day, bubbly day, right? I want you to look back 2 weeks, look ahead 2 weeks. What are you most excited about that you're working on? What projects are you finishing? What are you doing? Are you finishing a book? Are you starting a course? Are you launching a new program? Are you hiring new staff? Are you speaking on stages? Are you aligning with a nonprofit? Are you raising funds? Like the things that you are naturally doing, like Michelle was saying, I've got a podcast. I'm a bestseller. I've got this book. I've got this. Like, these are the things that you are naturally doing. And I want you to just pick like one thing and write a press release. Extra, read all about it. Angel Tuccy, interviewed by Michelle Mras, right? Like, what is the headline? And create some publicity and PR for what you are just naturally doing, and do it every single month. Bring your team together, celebrate your success, because as small business owners, it's way too easy to just get caught up in the doing, right? Check mark. Busy days, phone calls, all of that. But when we can take time to celebrate our success, put together a press release, submit that press release to your local news station, because your local news stations are looking for fresh news stories every day. They're looking for filler. They have their national headlines that they need to feature. They have their local headlines, but they're looking for human interest stories, good stories, right? Interesting stories, success stories. They're looking for you. And I just want to remind you that what you ordinarily do every day is magic to others. And get in the habit and get in this consistency and the cadence of sending out that press release to the news stations every single month. You can reach out to them personally, yourself, your local news stations, send them your press release. If you need help with it, of course, we write press releases, we distribute press releases, we'll send them out on your behalf. And we have a free gift for all of your clients, Michelle. I have 52 press release ideas, a whole year of attention-grabbing headlines, how to connect with journalists, and put together a complimentary media starter guide. And you can get that guide at my website, makeyourbiguimpact.com. That's makeyourbiguimpact.com. But go out and get started and celebrate you. And remember that what you do every day is truly magic, and that there are hundreds of thousands, and even millions of media opportunities that are looking for your story every day. And I can't wait to see you in the news.
Woo woo! Yes, go to makeyourbiguimpact.com and get your free gift. And I'm telling you, Angel has shifted my life, and she's correct. Celebrate, like she said, find your birthday and the month, and that mine's the 17th. So every 17th I write for something and I send it to Angel. And just like she says, the more you celebrate, the more that comes to you. It's like that you open the door for goodness and you're opened for good goju, whatever you call it. Moju? That doesn't even matter. Magic, whatever. She's in Disneyland area. So magic. You open the world for the magic that is waiting to come to you when you appreciate what you have done and what you do have. Mm-hmm. So go be the best version of you. Angel, thank you so much for staying awake and being with me tonight. Mwah! Go be the best version of you. Be unapologetic and have a great week. We'll see you next week. Good night.